As president of France in the 1960s, Charles de Gaulle launched a policy that would shape French strategy for generations. America, he argued, was undoubtedly a friend, but friendship was not the same as dependence. The United States had its own interests, just as France had its own. And one day, he believed, those interests might diverge. More than half a century later, in a Europe once again confronting war, uncertainty, and shifting alliances, those warnings appear remarkably relevant. From his principle of strategic independence, de Gaulle built the foundation of what became France's sovereign nuclear deterrent, a force designed to ensure that no foreign power, ally, or adversary could determine France's fate. Today, that force sits at the center of one of the most consequential security debates in Europe. France and the United Kingdom are Europe's only nuclear-armed states. France possesses just under 300 nuclear warheads delivered by aircraft and submarines. The United Kingdom maintains roughly 250 warheads. The difference lies not simply in numbers, but in control. France's nuclear arsenal was developed independently and remains entirely sovereign. Britain, while maintaining an independent deterrent, relies on American technical support for key elements of its nuclear system. For decades, France's nuclear doctrine has rested on a simple principle. Any threat to the nation's vital interests could trigger an overwhelming nuclear response. Yet what exactly constitutes those vital interests has never been fully defined. The ambiguity is deliberate. In nuclear strategy, uncertainty itself can be a weapon. Potential adversaries must never know precisely where the red lines lie. This doctrine traces directly back to de Gaulle. Even during the Cold War, French leaders suggested that France's security could not be separated entirely from the security of its neighbors. In 1964, de Gaulle indicated that an attack on West Germany by the Soviet Union would inevitably threaten France itself. In other words, the idea that French nuclear deterrence had a European dimension was never entirely absent. What changed in the 2020s was not the principle, it was the urgency. As Russia's war in Ukraine reshaped European security, and questions emerged about the long-term reliability of American guarantees, discussion around Europe's nuclear future intensified. President Emmanuel Macron entered that debate by suggesting that France's deterrent force, the force de frappe, might play a broader role in protecting Europe. The proposal immediately sparked controversy. Politicians on both the far right and far left accused the government of considering the sharing of France's nuclear arsenal. French officials strongly rejected that interpretation. Nothing, they argued, was being shared. Defense Minister Sébastien Lecornu stated that France's nuclear deterrent is French and will remain French, from its conception to its production to its operation, under a decision of the president. The discussion was never about placing additional hands on the nuclear button. The sole authority to order a nuclear strike would remain with the president of France. Instead, the question was whether France's protective umbrella could be more explicitly extended to European allies. Defense analysts explored several possibilities. French nuclear-capable aircraft could potentially be stationed in countries such as Germany or Poland. French bombers could conduct regular patrols near Europe's eastern frontier. Air bases across Europe could be adapted to allow rapid deployment of French aircraft during a crisis. The symbolism would be significant. The decision-making authority would remain in Paris, but the physical presence of French nuclear forces elsewhere in Europe would send a powerful message to potential adversaries. Questions of scale inevitably emerged. Could roughly 300 French warheads provide a credible counterweight to Russia's vastly larger nuclear arsenal? Perhaps not alone, but together with Britain's stockpile, the combined total would exceed 500 warheads. And importantly, the American nuclear umbrella remained formally intact, with U.S. nuclear weapons still deployed in several European countries, including Germany, Italy, and the Netherlands. Some analysts argued that France should formally redefine its doctrine and state openly that European allies fall within France's vital interests. Others believe such clarity would undermine deterrence itself. Strategic ambiguity, they argued, remains one of the doctrine's greatest strengths. Yet, something fundamental had shifted. For years, French proposals for a broader European nuclear role had often been met with caution. Many European governments were reluctant even to discuss alternatives to American protection. They feared sending a signal that their faith in NATO was weakening. That hesitation began to fade. According to defense analyst Pierre Haroche of the Catholic University of Lille, changing geopolitical realities had transformed the conversation. The United States was not removing its nuclear deterrent from Europe, but uncertainty surrounding future American commitments had encouraged European leaders to examine options that once seemed politically unthinkable. Among them was Germany. In a notable intervention, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz suggested that discussions with Paris and London regarding Europe's nuclear future were now necessary. The debate that had once existed largely in strategic circles was moving into mainstream European politics. Then came a turning point. What had begun as a discussion about possibilities evolved into a concrete shift in policy. Months after the debate intensified, President Macron unveiled what French officials described as the most significant transformation in France's nuclear strategy since the era of Charles de Gaulle. Speaking in Brittany before naval officers and a nuclear submarine at the Ile-Longue base near Brest, Macron argued that Europe had entered a new strategic age. The next 50 years will be an era of nuclear weapons, he declared. His response was what France called advanced deterrence. Under the new policy, France would increase the size of its nuclear arsenal beyond its existing force of approximately 300 warheads. Macron also announced plans for a new nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarine, scheduled to enter service in 2036. The vessel will carry the name the Invincible. More significantly, France moved beyond discussion and toward structured cooperation with European partners. According to Macron, 8 countries, the United Kingdom, Germany, Poland, the Netherlands, Belgium, Greece, Sweden, and Denmark, agreed to participate in aspects of the new deterrence framework. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk welcomed the development. "We are arming up together with our friends so that our enemies will never dare to attack us," he said. Under the new arrangement, participating countries could join exercises involving France's air-launched nuclear forces. Some could host bases capable of supporting French nuclear-capable bombers. Macron said this would allow France's strategic air forces to disperse across the European continent, complicating the calculations of any potential adversary. Partner countries would also contribute to supporting capabilities surrounding deterrence itself. These include space-based warning systems, missile defense networks, drone interception technologies, and long-range conventional strike capabilities. Despite the changes, one principle remains untouched. France's nuclear arsenal remains under exclusive French control. No ally receives a guarantee of automatic protection. No ally gains authority over the use of nuclear weapons. The final decision remains solely with the President of France. That continuity reflects the enduring influence of de Gaulle's original vision. The objective remains what it has always been: to convince any adversary that attacking France, or threatening interests deemed vital by France, would carry consequences so severe that no rational leader would risk them. Macron also announced that France would no longer publicly disclose the size of its nuclear arsenal, extending the doctrine of strategic ambiguity into a new era. Meanwhile, cooperation with Britain continues to deepen. British officials recently participated for the first time in exercises conducted by France's strategic air forces. Shortly after Macron's speech, France and Germany jointly announced plans for closer cooperation in nuclear deterrence and related military capabilities. In a joint statement, Macron and German Chancellor Friedrich Merz said the two countries would begin practical steps, including German participation in French nuclear exercises and the development of complementary conventional military capabilities alongside European partners. Both leaders stressed that the initiative was not intended to replace NATO. Instead, it would reinforce European security while operating alongside the alliance's existing nuclear framework. More than 60 years after Charles de Gaulle first argued that France must never depend entirely on another power for its survival, Europe finds itself revisiting many of the same questions. Who ultimately guarantees the continent's security? Can Europe rely indefinitely on the protection of others? And if not, what comes next? For decades, France's nuclear force stood primarily as a national safeguard. Today, it is increasingly becoming a central pillar in the debate over Europe's future. The answers remain uncertain, but one thing is clear: the discussion has moved far beyond theory. It is now shaping the strategic architecture of Europe itself.
Thanks for watching. For deeper context behind global events, don't forget to like and subscribe to US Mag.